So today I have my 5 people here and my one friend on the phone. Today my purpose of my speech is to inform my audience on why vaccinations are good and necessary in everyday life. Recently there have been many debates because diseases that have come in the past, like measles, mumps, diseases like that, have come back into society that were, deemed like ruled out because there have been a lot of parents like deciding not to vaccinate kids. According to the Washington Times, there's been as many as 102 measles outbreaks within the past year, and 59 of those cases were linked to just one Disney trip. They were all found in a Disneyland theme park in California. So all of these kids got sick from just one child. The numbers have risen since then because there have been parents not vaccinating their kids, and the diseases have been spread to about half a dozen other states since California. And other diseases include polio, diphtheria, and diseases that have become very rare in the U.S. are disappearing. So the reasons why we vaccinate, even though diseases are rare, is because there is a chance that anything could come back, even if you are vaccinated for them. So it is important to get any vaccinations because unless we completely eliminate your disease, then you have to keep getting immunizations. Even if they are rare today, we can't stop any sort of protection because you need to always constantly protect yourself. And the more and more people get infected, the more likely you are to get infected as well. So being someone who has grown up getting all of my vaccinations, I believe it is personally important to get your vaccinations, like the flu shot every year. I've gotten it every year since I was a child, and I can say that it has been effective, even though you still have a possibility of getting sick after getting immunizations. It will not be as bad as if you do get it without the immunization. So now that I've discussed how the vaccinations can help and prevent disease, I'm going to explain on what immunizations you need to get growing up. So, as stated by the Center for Disease and Control Prevention, infants through 6 years old are required to get the chickenpox, diphtheria, flu, Hep A and B, measles, mumps, and polio, the pneumococcal, rotavirus, rubella, tenarius, and the whooping cough. 7 through 18 is required to get the flu, HPV, Tdap, and meningococcal. 18 plus is required the flu, which obviously the flu should be getting every year. That's not required, but it is stated it's important to get every year. And the whooping cough, the HPV, the meningococcal, pneumonia, and the shingles. And after you turn 18, most of the shots you get are just second rounds of shots you've gotten in the past, just to continue to prevent and help you prevent diseases. So now that you know the vaccinations that you need to get for each age group, it is important to know what they do and what happens to any children and adult that can get vaccinations. So, as stated in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, outbreaks of diseases have been spread rapidly throughout the years because many schools no longer have mandatory shot records. A lot of schools in the past have required shot records, and now they don't. So many diseases have spread through schools because the children are in such tight places together, and they spread diseases very easily. There's been reports of measles in Arkansas, California, Connecticut, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. So there's a lot of states with measles outbreaks just recently. And that number has only doubled since 2015 when the measles were reported in the beginning. As of November 2018, 48 states have reported outbreaks of mumps as well, and that doubles to over 2,200 cases. Now that you have an idea of some of the negative impacts from people not having vaccinations and how they can spread, it's important to understand how vaccines better us. So it is important all individuals do have their own right and all parents have their own way of raising their children, but public health and public safety is extremely important to a society. Vaccines obviously prevent diseases without spreading or making diseases worse. They keep you healthy, safe, they're safe and effective, and improve health overall. And vaccines are preventable diseases and typically not expensive. Most insurances cover immunizations. So, now that you have learned everything about the vaccinations and all the preventable diseases, it is important that you progressively improve society and potentially eliminate diseases today. So I used my works cited. I used the Center for Disease and Control and Prevention and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and also the Washington Times to get all my information on the types of diseases and the ages you need to get them and everything. So I hope you guys have learned something, and that is my speech.